100% definitely recording. This is the DYU T1, a really futuristic commuter style e-bike that's lightweight, really good looking, but most of all, surprisingly cheap. But the question is it any good? Welcome to the e-VRC and the first review of 2025, and I'm going to start with this headline. This is the DYU T1, and it's on at £799, which is really, really cheap. Plus, there's probably going to be a discount code that could bring it down to about 700. And at that price, this does not look like a £700 bike, trust me. Well, you don't have to trust me. Just look at it. That frame, magnesium alloy, all one piece, which is why you can't see any like welds wherever you look. Despite the magnesium alloy frame, it's not the lightest. It's 23 kilograms, so it's not too bad. However, when you're talking about a lightweight e-bike, usually we're thinking 16 to 18 kilograms. So it's a bit heavier than that, probably because it's got the proper gears, the 7-speed Shimano rather than a single-speed belt drive. That does tend to save a bit of weight. But if I had the choice, I'd probably go with the gears. Same with the wheels. Look at those lovely wheels, no spokes there. 700-ish pounds for this. Woo! Now, the question is though, is it actually any good? So let's find out if this DYU T1 is as good as it looks. So firstly, it is a 250 watt, totally legal e-bike. 36 volt battery, 10 amp hours. They reckon a range of about 60 kilometers. Top speed of 15.5 since it is legal. And to keep it legal, it doesn't come with a throttle, although I have installed a throttle because one comes in the box. Let's just have a real quick look at how it came and what came in the box. Small box, pretty well packed. Get the handlebars on, get the pedals on, get the front mudguard on, and the light. That's a nice touch. 25 to 45 psi, because as you get older, it's harder to see the writing on these. The bike is assembled, so now we're just charging the battery, and with it being a 2 amp charger, this being a 10 amp hour battery, it should take about maximum 5 hours. However, it's already got some juice, so less than that. In the box we have pedals, tools, instructions and warranty card, 2 amp charger, and an optional throttle. Now luckily, because I've got a throttle, I actually stopped in the highest gear then, so it would have been hard to pull off, but luckily the throttle helped. Now this bike has got what we call a torque sensor, meaning rather than a normal cadence sensor where as soon as it detects you pushing the pedals around it gives you power, this actually detects that you're actually pushing the pedals down. So if I put it in, for example, first gear, because I'm going 13 miles an hour, it doesn't really think I'm pushing the pedals, so I'm only going 11. But if I go to the top one, and this is a 7-speed system, Shimano, Tawny, pretty simple. Although the lever is the under lever, kind of STI style, which I really like. But yeah, so as soon as it feels that engagement, it gives you the power, which means you can just kind of toot along really slowly. And if you want a bit of speed, you just push down, and it helps you out. It kind of augments your strength. Now we've got no suspension, so this is the bit where the potholes are. It's a bit rough. It's not terrible because the tyres, 20 inches, the wheels, they're about, I'd say about 2¼ inches wide. They're pretty comfortable. This is a commuting e-bike, so it is one that would be good for you to take to work and maybe even take on public transport, which, sorry DYU, I really wanted to do with this bike over Christmas, but I wasn't able to. But we will be taking this bike on the train, hopefully on the bus, so we'll see how that goes. But it is that kind of bike. It can be a last mile solution, or it can be the bike that takes you from your house to your work. You can probably tell I'm a bit out of breath That's because of this torque sensor. I actually don't really like torque sensors that much because I think you should just give you all the power. I'm absolutely knackered. Luckily, because we could install the throttle, it means we can do a sandy lane, because if you don't got a throttle and you've got a torque sensor, there's no way of giving it full power up the hill. 35 newton meters of torque. Honestly, I don't think it's going to make it to the factory. 3, 2, 1, go. So not the best of starts. Now, I said he's got no suspension. That's kind of a lie, because he's got a suspension seat post. It's not good. Basically, I sit on it, it settles into a lower position, and if I go over a bump, it doesn't really do much. Maybe if you're really light, it'll be good for you, but it's not good for me. And I have had some good suspension seat posts, but this isn't one of them. Right, we're only going up to 8, we're 8 miles an hour. We're definitely slowing down. I've started stopping at 3 miles an hour now, so if it gets to 3, I'll stop. So 4, 3, okay. So, I mean, we're still going. So I'm gonna say the factory, so add on a little bit. Right, let's test out that torque sensor. Let's say now, I'm on a hill. I forgot to move it down a gear. Will it kick in? Go. Oh, come on, torque sensor, why aren't you kicking in, man? Kick in. Why is it kick? It's not, or is it kicking in? It's so weak, I can't tell. Right, let's go up a gear. Right, I'm in top gear now. I mean, I'm going up. Let's just pull the throttle. See, the throttle helps. Why wasn't it doing it before? It's so weird. It's like it doesn't want to give all the power when it's on a torque sensor. So I'm torque sensor now. I mean, I'm going. Right, let's just turn it off. So turn it off. You've got to press the green button until the dots disappear. I think maybe I've got to stop. Oh no, it's off. Right, so the bike's off now. I'm actually going up the hill with no power. And to be honest, I did read it earlier. And I did try it earlier with no power. And it rides quite well. I'm gonna turn the power on. 3 dots appear. I'm not sure I could tell the difference. Oh, I didn't hold it long enough. The 3 dots are going to appear, and then stay. Oh my God. Oh, that's tiring. I'm just going to go on throttle for a bit now. Let's see how fast we can go. Throttle only. Remember, throttles are actually illegal on UK roads, so I am still putting my feet around, but I'm not putting any effort in. I'm so tired. I've got my big GPS on at the moment. Usually I use that to check the accuracy of the speedo, but this bike, you might have noticed, doesn't have a speedo. Now let me show you this computer, which isn't really a computer at all, is it? It's literally just a button and some lights. Now, the first annoying thing about this is to turn it on, you hold that, and it counts up to 3, and if you let go, it's not on. So you've got to hold it, and because I'm down a few bars of battery, see, it goes down to 2, and then it's ready. Thing is, if it's fully charged though, it goes to 3, and you can't really tell when, so you just got to kind of press it and guess. To turn it off though, you press it, and you might think, hang on, when's it turning off? When's it turning off? It's not turning off, but then it does turn off when you let go. Like that. So there's a bit of guesswork, and then to turn the lights on, you press it once and off again, and that's it really. Didn't do much else, just that. Which, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I kind of like having, knowing how fast I'm going, knowing how far I've gone. They're quite handy on an e-bike, especially if you need to keep track of range and you don't know how far you've gone. You don't want to keep a GPS in your pocket all the time, do you? So as the battery runs out, the dots go down, and without my GPS speedo, I have no idea how fast I was going. Now, although it said 19 miles an hour then, I don't think I was going 19, it didn't feel like it anyway. But it's settling around 15, which is obviously like the legal limit, 15.5. So, it's going all right. Now what I would like is cruise control, so I don't want to have to keep pressing it down, because I'd love to be able to kind of ghost pedal and get the full power, which is what you could do on a cadence sensor e-bike. But as soon as I let go now, it's like, nah, you're not engaging, you're not giving us any extra, so we're not going to give you any power. So I'll drop it up a gear and push it up a gear into top gear. I'm still not getting any power. I'm absolutely knackered. If you want to buy an e-bike though, like a New Year's resolution to get you out for a bit of fitness, this is good, because you can always like settle back onto the throttle if you're too tired. So let's just try and push it in top gear. 16, 17, I'm meant to have full power right now. 18, but if I pull the throttle, it didn't do anything because I was above 15.5. Oh, it's doing something now. Something I like about this bike is quite often when you get to that cut-off, 15.5, you feel like, yeah, I'm going all right now. Me and the motor, we're doing well. And then the motor cuts out. Suddenly it's just you and you're like, oh my God, I'm running through treacle. But this bike actually does ride pretty well without power. When the power cuts out, you can't really tell. I mean, it definitely is cut out. I'd be able to hear the motor. But now it's 15, if I press it, you can hear it and you can feel the pull. And although it's not the most powerful of e-bikes, you can definitely feel the pull, just like you can feel the bell, which is attached to the brake. I do like them bells attached to the brakes. Now let's find out a bit more about the bike, because it is a folding e-bike, so how small does it go when it folds? What kind of people can ride on it? Let's see how low we can go. Now with the suspension saddle, it means we can't go quite as low as we would have liked, but I reckon you'd be all right if what about 5.4 or 5.3 or something like that. Now the maximum isn't that high, there it is, so put that in there. The maximum isn't far off where I would have it. I'm only 5'9". Most people would probably say this is how you're meant to have it. So you'd probably start to get a bit uncomfortable on this about 6'3", possibly 6'4". Right, to fold the bike, get rid of that stand. Now that stand's not a chunky stand, but at least the base is a bit chunky, so it shouldn't fall into wet mud. So the pedals fold by putting them down like that. Pull the central bit, push them down. Slide that along, open, crack it open, and then it lands on the little plastic stopper. Handlebars, push that in. Now this pops open quite, oh, wasn't too bad then. Watch out for that. And there it is. And then you can put the saddle down a bit more if you want as well. It's quite compact though, and because it is quite a light bike, you can move it around and easily move it to different corners of the shed. Now the battery pops off quite easily, it only needs one little turn of the key. I wouldn't recommend you keep the key in the bike, it's a quick twist and it can easily drop out, so don't leave it in while you're riding. The saddle doesn't tilt forward, but even in its lowest position you can easily pull the battery out. We're just going over some speed bumps and it is a bit hard. Ooh. And I can feel the saddle going up and down. It's not the best, but it kind of does a little bit. The front light is wired into the bike, but the back light isn't, which is a shame, because I like it when it's wired in, because one, it will probably mean it's a brake light as well, which means we don't have a brake light, and two, obviously, if I run out of batteries on the back light, then we've got no back light. I mean, the flip side is that if you run out of batteries of the bike, then normally you'd have no backlight, and because it's got its own batteries, we will, but I think it's better the other way around, that as long as the bike's got batteries, your backlight works, because those little batteries, to change them, usually people just forget, get a bit lazy and leave it. The flared hand grips, they're nice, I've always liked those, just because they spread the area on which your palms rest on. It doesn't cut into your hands as much. It's got mechanical disc brakes, so nothing especially special. And when these two cars go past, which I can see, because I've got my Pidzoom helmet mirror on, we will do a brake test. There's some good speed now. I've done 4.23 miles. We've still got 3 lights. No bars, of course, on this bike. It rolls really well. Like some fat tyre e-bikes that are quite heavy and have a lot of rolling resistance, they don't roll that well, but this one does. 15 miles an hour. It is wet. This tree, and ooh, it's not too bad. Look there, that's like a meter. You see that? It's quite good. Now in that £700-ish price tag, you do get, which a few years ago you didn't always get, a rear rack which has a decent capacity, and the front and rear fenders, or mudguards. They're black plastic and they look pretty good. So you do get quite a lot for this bike. I love the gear shifters. Decent brakes. It looks so cool. And it's a style of bike where, because I don't usually like the look of folding handlebars, but it's the kind of style of bike where it makes even folding handlebars look good. The only thing I don't like is the torque sensor. It just doesn't really, it takes ages to give you any sort of power. So if you're pulling away at lights, usually that's the torque sensor strength. It's kind of like a reverse blade. Blade being the half vampire, half human, that has all the strengths of the vampire and none of those pesky weaknesses like sunlight and garlic. This is like the opposite of that, where it's got a torque sensor and it's got all the weaknesses of the torque sensor, but none of its strengths. So I'm still finding myself going around on the throttle, and if I didn't have a throttle, I wouldn't be very happy. So as a legal e-bike, unless you want a bit of exercise but a bit of power as well to augment you, if you want to be lazy like I usually do, then this wouldn't be the bike for you. But yeah, if you want a bit of exercise, and then this is a really nice bike and it looks so cool. I need to get some better superlatives for looking cool. It looks as cool as Mr. Freeze's wife. She's really cool. One thing I do keep doing is, because it's got an undershifter, every now and again I try and use the throttle, but I'm using the shifter instead. Like there, instead of there. That's on me though, that's not like a fault of the bike. It's also where I put it. They did leave a gap, actually, like perfect for that throttle. I don't know if they'll do that for everyone. That was very useful. Let's get down a curb. Oh, it's not the best, but it's a very satisfying bike, and with one little tweak, it could be the perfect commuting bike. I love the fact that they've just not said, oh, let's give it a Gates carbon belt drive to act all cool, increase the price, and mean you've only got one gear. You've got the versatility of having more than one gear. So I can, like if I did run out of batteries, I can use gears, and to help the hill climb, I can go into gear 1, and it wasn't that bad. You saw it on Sandy Lane, I could actually go up the hill without power. I like that. So I think for $799, or even less with the discount code, so check in the description, it's a really good bike, but they could even probably make it cheaper by changing that torque sensor for a cadence sensor, which are usually cheaper, and they could sell it for less, and it'd be a better bike, which is quite annoying. And then maybe they could wire that backlight in, so you don't have to get a battery. And if you could do that, then this would be almost perfect for the money. As it is, it's a very, very good bike for that price. And no one can tell me it looks like a sub-grand bike. You don't get a magnesium alloy frame on a £700 bike. You just don't. But obviously you do, because this is one. So there we go. If a torque sensor's your thing, or if you just think you'll just slap the throttle on and you mainly use that and then get some exercise when you want, then I don't think you can go much wrong with this. So if you are interested, the link is in the description. It's an affiliate link, so if you use our link, it'll do exactly the same as if you Googled it or used any other link, except we will get a bit of commission. It'll help the channel and help us keep making videos. Don't forget the discount code, and If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like. But if you didn't enjoy it, then let us know why, so I can improve. But also thanks for still being here. Maybe you left us on automatically and I'm in the back of the room talking and you're like, oh God, I forgot about that video. But anyway, yeah, give us a thumbs down and tell us how I can improve. And until next time, thanks for watching. Ride safe.